To know that you've affected people's lives in a positive kind of way, it's a wonderful feeling. Even today, when I see kids with Thomas toys, I always have to just sort of stop and take a moment. It's a feeling I hope everybody in television gets at one time or another with one of their shows.
It's great that fans of all ages still like the original show. It really is great. I get fan mail from literally all over the world: South America, Australia, North America, Japan. A lot of these people have gone on to have careers in music because of the Thomas theme. And that is the best thing anyone could ever say to me. That's an honour, you know, to think that you've been instrumental in giving them a career to go forward with.
Let's not deny it, a bit of us, certainly with men, remains a child forever. Certainly in my case, I shan't deny that. And I think that one of the things we particularly like are those early memories, and I think Wilbert will be delighted to know that there are a lot of other Wilberts out there who like these engines, who like his stories, and crucially, never stop liking them. Really, to me, Thomas means nostalgia.
I just think it's terrific that this engine and this world continues to draw people together. I think it gives people a sense of community. I think it helps us all remember a little bit about our childhood, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, the world would probably be a better place if we did think more about our childhood.
I think even if the show died, the fans would still be passionate about it. They'd be making their own content, writing their own stories, sharing information about it. You know, as I said, it's a vast world. The Reverend Audrey, he created this whole world. And to this day, you know, fans keep elaborating on it, discussing it. It's almost infinite.
I don't think Thomas will ever fade away entirely. He'll always be there in some people's minds. I mean, look at other classic things like Beatrix Potter and Winnie the Pooh. And when we've got this wonderful Unlikely Fandom base as well, I'm sure they will do their utmost to make sure it keeps going.
When I first heard that there was this fandom, I was tickled pink about it. I'm very grateful and happy that you've all grown up with Thomas and sort of got this gathering. It's very special to me when they write as adults and are so eloquent in sharing with me all the reasons they love Thomas. I wanted to make it so that any little child watching could feel that that's where they could go, that they weren't alone and they were comforted, and that they were inspired. Being you is being you, and getting together as human beings who have fun and you inspire each other, and I love that. The fact that you make friends and play trains and or everything else that you do, and the reason I'm here. It's just brilliant. So stay unlikely.
I still do work on my YouTube series. I'm really trying to make that work and see where my YouTube channel can go at the moment. Even if I wasn't watching the show or buying new trains or making new episodes anymore, I feel like I'll still be in touch with all the people that are, and I'll still care about what they're making. So I think by virtue of the fact that I've made so many friends here, I don't see myself leaving anytime soon.
It's definitely a connection to my past. Brings me, really good nostalgic feelings because I loved it growing up. I've grown out of things before and put them behind me, but I think a piece of it always stays with me. So not completely. I think maybe someday, but there will be a small part of me that will always love it.
I don't really think this is ever going to disappear. It tried to once and it came back, so I think that's a sign that it's going to stay. I have invested far too much money in model trains for it to go away. Even if I do lose a bit of interest, down the line, I don't think it's ever going to fully go away. It's always going to be a part of me because it's set me on this path.
There was a point where I did grow out of Thomas when I was in college, and I did try to put it aside and focus on other aspects of my life and kind of feel like I needed to grow up. But I realized I wasn't happy doing that, and eventually I did get back into it, and I re-entered the fandom, and I realized this is a thing that makes me really happy. It's so ingrained in my life from childhood to now that thinking about a life without Thomas just sounds kind of dull, and I would hate to live a life like that.
I absolutely do not see myself letting this go, and I think the amount of embrace my family housed me with it, I want to do the same with the family of my own. You know, it's friendship, it's camaraderie, it's bonding, it's like something special, and it's just so welcoming. And I felt like it opened up a social part of me that I didn't know was awake. Thomas, he's just a friend that you can always come back to, and he'll always be waiting for you there, wherever you left off.
There's no turn back. There is no turn back. I mean, I'm 27 now. I'm gonna be 28 in June. I still watch the show. I still read the books. The day to stop was yesterday.
I don't think I would let it go. It's one of those sort of comfort blankets where, you know, one returns to it, you know, because I had a very happy childhood. It's always nice to look back and evoke the memories of growing up.
I associate Thomas with so many happy memories. For me, the essence of Thomas is happiness and nostalgia and real craftsmanship that I intend to replicate in whatever future projects I do.
Early on, Thomas was a secret part of my life, then it was a component of my life, and now it's become not my whole life, but I fully embraced it as something that is just a part of me in every way. Thomas is an escape, it's an emotional outlet, it's a way to take yourself beyond just liking a TV show or being in the audience or being an observer. It invites you to be creative, not just for yourself, but also to share that creativity with other people and make a community out of it.
much, Brandon, honestly. I mean, did anyone else just feel at home watching that?
Yeah.
You know, it just really felt warm. We're not in a massive depot, we're all in our living rooms, really watching with Brandon. Brandon, I am going to throw it over to the audience, but I just wanted to ask you, who is that film for?
The first answer is it's for my mom, because she's my biggest supporter, and I love her dearly, and she was the only parent that was supportive of this entire endeavor and never told me to grow up. But my dad didn't really feel the same way, which is okay, whatever. But then it's also for whoever is in the audience, whoever felt alone and felt like you were weird. You're not weird. I mean, we're a little weird, let's be real here. But you're not weird. There were so many people that came up to me and said, especially at the US premiere, I wish I'd had this film 10 years ago when my parents didn't quite get it. And so it's for you, you know, you're never alone. People are always going to be with you in whatever cause that you're a part of. And it's always cooler if it's with Thomas.
And I suppose my question for you is, what is the most surprising discovery that you made during the film? Actually, maybe about yourself.
I was amazed at how much patience I had with editing this thing. But more importantly, I was very surprised to discover how many people wanted to come forward with it. Because I think, you know, speaking personally, sometimes you do want to keep it a secret. You don't want to be open about it. But most people in this film, I mean, you have a ton of names, whatever, they wanted to celebrate it, and I think that was great. It was surprising.
Yeah, it's amazing as well. I mean, trains. What do you think the the deep universal appeal. If we go beyond the faces, they chose to put it on trains. What's the deep universal appeal of trains, do you think, culturally?
I think it's very tangible, and they're huge, and it's kind of like everyone can appreciate a good car. I'm not a car guy, but if I see a Ferrari, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. When I see Flying Scotsman out there, I'm like, I don't know a whole lot about trains, but I'm like, that is huge. You have respect for this giant creature, if you will. And then, especially here, train culture is so big that you have respect for it.
Well, I suppose that brings me to my next question. I mean, given the US's sort of car-centric culture, that accounts for sort of it accounts for a strong, unlikely attachment as well, I suppose. Passenger train is much less prevalent and culturally central than, say, in Europe or Asia. It's wonderful that it's found its way into the States. But what do you think? How did that happen? Do you think?
I think, at least you're right. Train culture in the U.S. is not the same here. I think all of us are aware of that. I mean, this is my second time in the UK. I'm still shocked how easy it is to get around here. If I wanted to go somewhere back home, I'd have to get in my car. I don't want to do that. But with Thomas, I really think it just came down to the source material was just that damn good, and the character's relatable, and it's just colorful, and at the end of the day, everyone can appreciate a nice, bright blue train.
And there's something really powerful, I think, about connections and what trains represent. It's connections and relationship, and as you mentioned, it's very tangible. I just want to say thank you very, very much. I had a bunch of other questions that I won't bore anyone with, at least all you, but I cried. I don't know if anyone else cried. Did anyone cry? Yeah. So I think we should probably give it to the audience. Does anyone have any questions?
There's that romanticised nature of a simpler time where there's not much to worry about in the world, and all you could focus on is what's going to happen in that story or what's going to happen over this story arc.
Each one of those stories is a little morality play. And I think when you think about kids at that age, they have a very strong sense of justice. They have a very strong sense of what's right and what's wrong. If an engine misbehaved, there were consequences. So kids could see in themselves, in Thomas and Edward and Bertie and Gordon, sort of a reflection maybe of their own playground.
Why does this character resonate with you? Why does this color? Why does this location? All these things. It's the simplicity. It's the beauty of Sodor. It's wanting to be there, to be a part of it. It's a world where someone gets snippy or acts out of line, but then in 4.5 minutes, everything gets resolved. We learn a lesson. There's so much catharsis from that.
They were more interesting than, Jack sat on the mat type stuff. It was a good little adventure, in the old days. And of course the artwork in the original books were absolutely fabulous. It captured that old England type feel.
The colour of the illustrations, there is the fact that the story themselves are written at a level which a child can appreciate from really, I suppose, 6 months up to 93. I mean, Father always says the story is written for 3 to 93s, and I don't think he's far wrong.
The narration was a single voice narration. Made a big difference. The colors are beautiful. The pacing wasn't too fast, it wasn't too slow, but each one of them told a story. And they told the story in a very clear, non-condescending way.
All the stories are based on real railway events, which adds an air of reality. I mean, all of it, there is a fantastic story. They happen. Because they're real, we can tell the stories with an air that has a genuineness about it.
When we came to do the film, we had fantastic backgrounds that David had created, which reflected the books very well, actually. They couldn't use the original artwork, but it was very close. And there was the odd accident, which, in the old days, you could bang 2 trains together, big explosion. Dave did a fantastic job directing the whole thing. It was just superb. And you could see from series 1 that it was going to be special.